shifting gears a little bit. The other component of innovation that I feel like is a bit of a myth or a misconception is, I think innovation often gets attributed to the startup world, entrepreneurship. But is all entrepreneurship innovation? Is all innovation coming from entrepreneurs?
I would say no. And I do think there is that misconception that to be an innovator, you have to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Where I don't think that's the case. I think innovation exists in a lot of different places. I also don't think you have to be the ideas person in the room to be an innovator based off of that formula, right? You could be a really strong implementer to be an innovator as well. But, you know, a term that we've commonly used is this idea of an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. So I think of who can create an innovation. I think it's both. I think it could be an entrepreneur that works for themselves, one idea, startups growing something from scratch pretty quickly. I think it could be an intrapreneur, someone who has some of more of those entrepreneurial characteristics. You mentioned grit, creativity, you know, resilience in a more corporate, larger organization setting where it's benefiting the entire organization. And I also think the type of innovations that do happen, they don't have to be these big, bold, radical ideas. They could be taking something like you used with your military examples with Wi-Fi or internet and GPS, and then bringing it to a different audience in wide scale. I think it can also be process optimization, finding small tweaks that like create a huge impact that is like, whoa, this has been right under our nose the entire time.
Yeah. So innovation doesn't only come from entrepreneurs,
or
is what I'm hearing
people.
Or saying, or ideas people.
Yep.
I came across this stat too, like where 28% of new ventures come with a like genuinely new idea, like innovation. So like I think that already breaks that conception of like entrepreneurs or startups equal innovation. But you bring up an interesting point about intrapreneurs too. So that makes it more around like it feels like innovation is more of a mindset or culture. Process optimization, I think, is an interesting one that you bring up. So like doing something that has been done before, so it's not net new, but you're approaching it in a different way, in a better, more efficient, faster way, we would still classify as innovation.
Yep.
Curious what you think about things like doing something in one market and then expanding it to a new market.
If it's a rinse and repeat, you know, like a lift and shift, whatever term you want to use of, we'll do it here and we're going to do the exact same thing over here with a different group of people. I would feel like that's less of an innovation and more of just an expansion on something.
Like scaling your innovation.
Market scaling expansion. It. But if it's more of a lifting something, you need to kind of fit it for a new audience. You have to optimize it. You're changing it. You're taking some lessons learned, but ultimately it's going to create the same impact, but may look completely different. Yeah. I could see that as an innovation.
Okay. Agreed.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you have to think about something else?
Sometimes I agree to disagree, but this time I genuinely agree. So I think entrepreneurship does not equal innovation. No. Innovation does not equal entrepreneurship. It's more of a mindset that often comes with certain like characteristics like grit, determination, turning ideas into action, back to kind of where we started.
Which is hard to do. And I think this is important for folks that might be listening to not create this unicorn concept of you need to be an ideas person. You need to be willing to take risk and experiment to test some things. You need to be like the best implementer in the world. You know, you think of that formula, like it could take two to tango, right? And I think of a lot of folks that I've worked with, I do not identify as an ideas person. I know I'm an implementer. Give me your wild vision. Tell me kind of what's motivating you, and I will find the best way to implement it to create the best impact.